Do you ever feel like something you said or did is following you around, making you wish you could go back and fix it? I have a story that you might find interesting. Imagine that someone close to you, a partner, a friend, did something so wrong that it changed how you feel about them. Now, picture the weight of their sorrow, the shame they feel, and the sleepless nights they spend repeatedly thinking about what they did. This is not only about the pain they caused you but also about the pain they caused themselves. What if I told them the angels also have a message for you? A word that helps people understand, heal, and have hope. Watch this video with me until the end. What you're about to hear could change everything. This message from an angel could be the key to getting the forgiveness and peace you both need so badly. No matter who you are, everyone feels regret at some point. It's the feeling you get in your chest when you understand you did something wrong, and the effects of that mistake begin to show. Regret is a strong feeling often paired with shame, which is just as painful. When they come together, they can make a storm of destructive emotions that are hard on the heart and soul. Every day, people feel terrible when they hurt someone through words, actions, or even by doing nothing. It's not just feeling bad about what happened, it's also the deep sadness and sense of loss that come from knowing you can't change the past. Feelings of sorrow can stop you and make it hard to move on or find peace. When someone who hurts someone else feels sorrow, they often blame themselves. They might think about what they could have done, said, or acted differently. People can tire of this mental loop that keeps them in a circle of guilt and self-punishment. Often, when we realize we've hurt someone or made a big mistake, guilt and sorrow come along simultaneously. Regret is when we feel bad about what happened because of what we did, and guilt is when we know we are guilty of what we did. I did something wrong, is what that voice inside you says. When understood and dealt with correctly, guilt can lead to sound change. But if we don't do anything about it, it can become a heavy load that brings us down. If you ask an angel, they would say that guilt is a normal feeling everyone has, but it needs to be controlled and kept in check. Guilt isn't meant to punish us, it's a sign that we must heal and pay attention to something inside us. When angels talk to us, they often try to help us understand that guilt is a natural feeling, but it shouldn't be a constant part of our lives. One of the most essential things that angels teach us is that guilt should drive us to change, not make us feel bad about ourselves. It would help if you were responsible for your actions, but remember that you can make things right and learn from your mistakes. This is where the idea of redemption comes in. When we admit that we did wrong and try to make things right, we can start to heal ourselves and our relationships. When we're in relationships, whether they're romantic, family, or friendship-based, we often feel regret and grief the most. Different actions or inactions can cause these feelings, many of which are caused by misunderstandings, failed expectations, or times of weakness. You need to understand these triggers to get through the complicated emotional landscapes they make and find a way to heal. Communication that hurts others can lead to sorrow and guilt in relationships. What we say when we're mad, frustrated, or even joking can hurt the people we care about for a long time. It's easy to say or do things we don't mean when angry or upset. When our feelings have calmed down, we may feel wrong about the hurtful things we said and wish we could take them back. People often feel guilty when they realize they hurt the relationship by what they did. Making things right is essential to overcoming sorrow and guilt, especially in relationships. You have to do more than say, "I'm sorry." You have to do things that show you are serious about changing and fixing the damage you've caused. The angels guide us during this process and help us walk the delicate road of reconciliation with kindness and grace. One of the first things angels usually tell people is to be humble about what's happening. When we realize we have hurt someone, we should admit our mistakes and not try to explain or defend our actions. This means we must own up to the harm we've caused, understand how it has affected the other person, and genuinely say we're sorry. Sincere conversation can happen when we are humble, showing the other person we know how bad our actions are. The next step, as told by the angels, is to say sorry from the bottom of your heart. Saying sorry isn't just a duty, it shows that we want to fix things with the other person. The angels tell us that when we say sorry, we should be clear about what we did wrong, how it hurt, and how much we want to make things right. This could mean saying, "I know my words hurt you, and I'm truly sorry for the harm I caused. I want to fix our relationship in any way I can." Now that we've talked about the depths of regret, guilt, and getting things right, it's essential to know how powerful forgiveness is, both forgiving and being forgiven. Forgiving others frees us from the weight of our mistakes and lets us move on with a lighter heart and a better mind. The angels often stress this crucial step when they guide us because it is the key to natural healing and spiritual growth. It can be hard to forgive others, especially when we've been hurt badly. But the angels tell us that being angry and hanging on to grudges only keeps us stuck in the pain of the past. We're not condoning the actions that hurt us when we choose to forgive. Instead, we're freeing ourselves from the mental weight that those actions have put on us. The angels tell us to forgive with an open heart and know that it's a gift for the other person and ourselves. Empathy is often the first step in forgiving someone. The angels tell us to try to see things from the other person's point of view, to figure out what drives them, and to see how human they are. This doesn't mean you agree with what they did, but you do decide that everyone makes mistakes and that those mistakes don't make them who they are. By working on our empathy, we make room for kindness and understanding in our hearts, which are needed to forgive genuinely. The process of forgiving ourselves is just as necessary and sometimes even harder. When we forgive ourselves, the angels remind us that it doesn't mean we don't have to deal with the consequences of our acts. Instead, it's about admitting when we're wrong, learning from them, and giving ourselves the freedom to move on without feeling guilty. To accept ourselves, we need to be kind to ourselves, understand that we are all flawed people on a growth path, and believe that we can change. It takes time and a mix of forgiveness and acceptance to let go of regret and guilt. No matter how hard it is, the angels help us understand that we can change the future but not the past. When we let go of the past, we make room for new opportunities and the chance to live a happier, more satisfying life. This doesn't mean forgetting what happened, it means letting go of the mental grip that our mistakes have on us. Angels often tell people to meditate, pray, and write in a book to help them let go. These routines can help us connect with our true selves, deal with our feelings, and hear from and receive help from the divine. If we do these things, we can gain the power to forgive, the courage to make things right, and the wisdom to move on with a new sense of purpose and peace. When we let go of sorrow and regret, we make room for love, happiness, and spiritual growth. The angels tell us that every event is a chance to grow and change forever, no matter how bad. Forgiving and letting go of things brings us into harmony with the divine flow of life and lets love lead us instead of fear. By doing this, we let the universe's endless possibilities fill our lives and move into a future full of hope, healing, and infinite possibilities.